Hi, everyone, and welcome to PCCS's EmPower Hour. My name is Alyssa DeGusto.
My name is Kevin Roman.
And we're here today with a special guest through the SIDDC. We have with us today Barbara Demora. She is an SIDDC member, founding member of the Grace Foundation, and a board member of the Grace Foundation. So welcome, Barbara. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you. So Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know I gave a little bit of a brief intro, but you have a nice chunky resume here. So let's hear about it.
Well, I've been a special education teacher for over 30 years. Yes, I am a founder of the Grace Foundation. I am still an active board member. And as of late and recent, I am a certified spelling to communicate practitioner. I've been working on this for the last year. A lot of work went into this. I feel like I got a second master's degree, and this is something I'm so passionate about because I have a 23-year-old son with non-speaking autism who uses this methodology to communicate, and quite effectively.
That's so interesting. So for those who don't know of spelling to communicate, can you describe a little bit more what that means, what that looks like?
Sure. Well, I will say this. Anyone who thinks that you could just get a letterboard and put it in front of an autistic kid and say you're spelling to communicate is so far off the mark. It is such a hierarchy of events that need to take place, A, to become a certified practitioner, and B, to get the participants spelling to communicate. So many of our kids that are non-speaking have apraxia. And people think apraxia just means that they can't speak. But when you have apraxia, you also have apraxia of your body. So many of our kids who present like this, who are non-speaking, or even the kids who maybe are speaking but don't communicate effectively, they don't have purposeful communication, it is because their body and their brain is not cooperating at the same time. They are fully present. They know what's going on. We all presume competence. They understand everything. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh, but he understands. I know he understands because he or she can, is listening." Yes, they understand, and we need to presume competence. And if you presume competence, you will get a lot more success. Lowering the bar or talking to them down here, that's where they're going to stay. If you raise the bar and you talk to them up here, you'd be surprised, where that leads. So basically what spelling to communicate is it teaches individuals with motor challenges, and that's what we call when the body and the brain don't cooperate. We call those motor challenges. It teaches them purposeful motor skills to get them to point to letters to spell as an alternative means of communication. So basically their body, their cognitive self, and their body, which is their motor, is out of balance. And what we want to do is show or get to, I hope you guys can see this.
Yeah, but we'll make you full screen now so we can see.
Am I full screen?
Not yet, 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Fiddling around with it.
Our tech
It's when you want it to do something that you start sweating. Oh man.
Exactly.
Click
All right,
fast.
that's okay. So, I could talk about it, but here it is. And this is what the goal of spelling to communicate, to achieve synchrony with the motor and the cognitive. Okay, so I can put this back up if I get on full screen.
Perfect.
So that people can see it.
That sounds great.
But I cannot stress enough that you need a skilled and rigorously trained practitioner to do this. There are some people out there that claim to be, on the letterboards or spelling, communication partners. And if they have not been trained and they don't know the hierarchy of the levels of prompting, and they don't know the parts of the brain and how we're trying to achieve synchrony, it's really not effective. It's not going to work. And we don't want to ruin all the hard work we've done with our participants and show that some kids are out there doing like a rogue version and it doesn't work. And then that makes it look bad for all the ones that are really doing the work. So I cannot stress to you enough how important it is to have a certified practitioner, someone who knows what they're doing, because it really can go badly. You can frustrate a child. You could put that letterboard. They don't have the motor. They don't have the prompting. They won't be successful. And then it will be a blank show. I don't want to say that on Facebook Live. So we don't want that. Okay. So what Spelling to Communicate does is we teach motor practice, and that centers around engaging lessons, cognitive lessons, because I firmly believe after 21, you should never stop learning. So we take current events, we take science stories, we take curriculum, we take all different things, and we practice spelling. And there is a hierarchy of prompts, starting with the most, actually almost like spelling it out for them. Go get that A, go spell that B, go get this, go get that. You know what I'm saying? So we're prompting on the highest level in the beginning, getting them to spell and get that motor matching with their cognitive, because like I told you, there is an imbalance. So we want this to be balanced here, cognitive and motor to be balanced. Okay, that is our goal. And there's different phases of prompting, and there's different phases of Spelling to Communicate. So something is like it's coded with us with the green. We have different color codings for the different levels of cognition, but a known question is something we just tell them. We say something and then we ask them a question. What did I just say? Or, the house is red. What color was the house? That's a known question because I just said it. So we start with the known, and we literally go down to different hierarchies of learning till we're at what we call pink, which is open communication. How do you feel today? Are you sick? What do you want to eat when we go out to dinner later? What would you like to do when we go on vacation? These are the things that parents are dying to know, what our kids are thinking, what they really want. And this is something that is achieved through Spelling to Communicate, but it is a hierarchy. So you could never just take your letterboard, stick it under a participant's nose and say, hey, what do you want for dinner? Or, gee, we're going to, Great Adventure. What's your favorite ride? It doesn't work that way. So we would start with reading a story or a little thing about our trip to Great Adventure, and maybe just do some known and get them familiar. And it takes a while. I don't want you to think at the end of that session that you're going to get open, because you're not. It is a hierarchy. So communication moves from the concrete to the abstract as motor skills progress. Because don't forget, when you have apraxia, it's not just of your speech, it is of your body. And how I know this is all of the kids who are spelling are confirming this. My mind and my body do not cooperate. I know what I'm supposed to do, but my body cannot execute it. So we are there to help the cognition and the motor, which is that unruly body, get to synchrony where it's balanced. Because right now it's like this or like that, and it can fluctuate. So that's when you see a kid having a tantrum out in the community, or you see a kid very dysregulated. That doesn't mean that they are unable to communicate. Their body is just rogue right now. So we're there to try and bring it to a balance. Does that make sense?
Sure does.
Absolutely.
It definitely.
Yeah.
So now with your now that you have your Spelling to Communicate program, you have opened up a program through the Grace Foundation, correct?
Yes, it's called the Studio, and it is a day program. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest in that. A lot of people are going to be interested in that. And that's good. We are in the process, though, of trying to hire more staff to accommodate the interest. So if someone is interested in that, they certainly can call the Grace Foundation, get the information, get on a wait list. And we are feverishly working to try and get more staff so that we can accommodate having the program grow. Right now, it started as a pilot. There's 3 kids in it, and we are definitely going to be expanding. We just need, like the whole world, we need employees, right?
Absolutely. We're all facing that. So I know you were mentioning, so you have certified practitioners who are participating in the program and working and helping out. How does one even get involved in trying to become a practitioner or?
Okay, well, there is an organization out there called IASC. It's the International Association for Spelling to Communicate. And their website is i-asc.org. And they have practitioner trainings. They are always looking for practitioners, because the more people like myself that are out there in the community, the more people are going to find their voice, and they will be set free. Because I attribute it to almost like being locked inside, and you can't get your body to cooperate with your mouth. So you are trapped, and it's sad. And we see this all the time. So the more of us, the more people will be set free. So they can contact them. They have also a parent program, a shorter version. It's not so much work, as far as academics and stuff to get certified. There's a parent training that they also offer if parents are interested, and they can do that. And then they can contact me at barbara.diamora@aol.com, because there are over a dozen of us who are now certified that have come out of the cohort. I was in cohort B. There have been many cohorts, and they can contact me and I can point them in the right direction to try and find a practitioner that would suit them. There will be a center opening up eventually, and we will be doing intakes, and I know there's going to be a lot of interest, and I'm excited about that. So once students have achieved that autonomy between the motor and the communication, then that leads to their body being more purposeful movement for daily living activities and achieving their personal goals. So you see from spelling, you don't just communicate your spelling. Everything else changes. Your regulation. So kids that are very dysregulated become more regulated. And also they lift that frustration of not being able to, have their needs met. So it's truly an amazing thing. So I can't stress enough that you just can't stick a letterboard under someone's nose, or you can't just say, I know how to do letterboard, because it's just not about that. There's a whole hierarchy of prompting levels, of regulation goals, how to regulate someone who is dysregulated. It's so much more. So I don't want anyone just going out there picking up a letterboard or finding someone who isn't trained and say, hey, you want to go on the letterboard with my kid, because that's just not the way to go. If you're going to do it, go all in.
It sounds amazing. And I know you had mentioned that it's a day hab program. So for our viewers who are watching, kind of don't know what that means, what age group are we looking at for that?
Well, this is over 21, although you know that you can leave high school after 18. You can leave early, but you are entitled to an education in the public school system until 21. But for that matter, I'll just say 18 and over. But most of our participants are over 21. And I could describe to you what our day looks like. There is a motor piece every day. We work on motor every day, more than once a day, because working on that motor really improves the cognitive piece. People see my son Nicholas out in the community and they say, oh, but he's so regulated, or but look, he has the cognitive piece. I've heard that so much. And the answer is yes, he does, but he's been practicing this methodology for a long time. And people say, oh, my kid isn't like that, or my kid can't get to that. And the answer is yes, they can. They can achieve what Nicholas has achieved. It's just a hierarchy of steps. So I want people to just know that it's for everybody. No one has not succeeded doing it. And our day program is so unique and so different, because not only do we have the motor piece, we have a very enriched curriculum. Our guys just got they're just finishing up a study on plastics in our environment. And they studied microplastics in the ocean. There was a bunch of different lessons. They're going to be doing what we call a VACtivity, which is visual, auditory, kinesthetic, tactile. They've been doing art about, maybe about the unit. They're going to go out and film a documentary now at the beach. So it's a thematic approach to learning. So not only are they doing their motor, they're doing I don't want to call it academics, because it's not school, but there is an enriched curriculum, because I firmly believe, as well as my founders in the program, you never stop learning, and we never stop raising the bar, and it's dignity and respect to keep learning. Why at 21 do we assume the only thing they need to learn to do is fold their clothes and, make a meal? And that's it. That's all you're ever taught for how to wash your clothes. And not that life skills are not important, because our guys work on that as well, but through the motor, through improving their motor and cognition, they can improve their daily living skills. So we're not going to have them, make a bed 10 times a day. No, that's not our end goal. So our program really focuses on motor and cognition. And it's so unique. I encourage anyone to, reach out to find out about it. And there's nothing like it. So it's just so exciting. My son absolutely loves going, as well as the other two participants. We have people who come in to do yoga. We have an art therapist comes in who does art therapy with them. They go out to a gym to do a full workout motor, but more like what that TRX, the fitness that involves, real working out with the ropes and jumping and moving and just getting that cognitive and motor, achieving that balance. So it's really exciting. And they you're going to ask, or someone's going to ask me, do they need to spell to come into the program? The answer is yes, they do. So the first step would be trying to get a practitioner to work with you to get your child spelling or introduce them to spelling, and then they can be considered for the program, because the program isn't taking kids that just have never been exposed to any type of, communication on a board. And I also want you to know that the hierarchy is moving from a stencil, which is, a letter board, then a laminate board, and then eventually and ultimately to a keyboard. So there's independent communication. Someone always won't have to maybe hold the letter board for a participant, because a lot of people think when someone's holding the board that it's not their words, that there's some, ESP going on or something.
Right.
Not happening. It's their words.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So besides age and being able to spell, are there any other qualifications to be even considered for this program?
Well, like I said, if they're working with a certified practitioner, that's step one, because they'll be able to assess and evaluate if they're ready for a day program, for it. So I would suggest they really try and find a practitioner and get someone working with their child. Not really any other criteria, because like I said, it's worked with everyone who's tried it. There's no failure. They will respond to our level of prompting and start communicating on a letter board. And then as that hierarchy goes up, they'll become more and more, adept and experienced at it.
Amazing.
So in the beginning, it looks like, of course, we're helping them spell everything, but that's the point. So when people first see that, they're like, oh, but you're telling them. Yeah, we're telling them for a reason. We want them to learn the motor of the pointing. So we may say, spell cat, go get that C. Up, go get that A. Great, go down, get that T. That's the very bare beginning of prompting. And then eventually we don't have to do that anymore. We're not coaching that motor so much that we need to spell every letter. They're very adept at doing it on their own. And that's a beautiful thing to witness and see when that happens. It's really exciting.
I'm sure that satisfaction on all parties is probably incredible.
I can't even begin to tell you the lives that it's changed, the tears, the parents that just cry, that never knew that their kid liked. And I was one of them. I never knew Nicholas liked, his favorite color was orange. I never knew that he liked designer clothing, and he was really picky about, what he wore, and he wanted to shop and pick out his own clothes. I did not know any of those things. He said he loved stripes. I think that Christmas I went out and bought every striped shirt I could find. Unfortunately, then he probably hated the stripes, but he likes to order his own food in the restaurant. He used to get very upset. I didn't know when I would tell the waitress what he wanted, because I assumed I knew what he liked. No, he wanted to pick it. He wanted me to read the menu to him. Then he wanted to choose, what he wanted. He even got mad at me one day when I said, oh, he'll have the steak medium rare. He's like, I wanted to tell them that. Okay. So it's pretty empowering, and it's just life-changing. That's all I could tell you. And that we need to get the word out there that this is available to people, and that they can change the course and the trajectory of their child's autism.
Absolutely. Well, so I know the first step would be, let's contact you, Barbara, to get some more information if we know somebody that wants to enroll in this program. So we will, for those who are watching, we will put Barbara's contact info in the comments so they can reach out to you directly. Barbara, is there any other forms of contact or anything that anyone else should know before?
Well, yeah, the Grace Foundation. They can contact the Grace Foundation. Oh, I'm sorry. My house phone's going to ring now on this thing.
That's okay. No,
eventually stop. But anyway, I know I was worried about the dogs. Now the phone's ringing. So they should contact the Grace Foundation if they're interested in the program. Our director is Suzanne Canella, and she, of course, somebody would get back to you. And then, like I said, we are working to expand our staff so that we can eventually have more participants. That is the end goal. And as far as a practitioner, yes, there are over a dozen of us, so they can reach out to me at barbaradiamora@aol.com, no apostrophe, and I can try and hook them up with a practitioner, because there are a bunch now that have come out. Staten Island is so unique. We are so lucky because we have a bunch of practitioners ready to go. Years ago, when Nicholas started spelling and I did these, workshops out in the community, it was a little frustrating because there was nobody to send them to. they had to go to Texas, or they had to go to see Elizabeth Vossler at Growing Kids Therapy Center. She is our person who runs I Ask, and they had to go to her. And now that's not the case. So Staten Island is in a very wonderful and unique position because we have a cluster of qualified and certified practitioners.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're getting us on the map. The Rock is on the map.
Love it. Love it. We would love to see it. Well, with that said, Barbara, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us today to talk about the program. So Chris Marchione asked, are the DSPs trained as practitioners as well?
Well, that's a good question. The DSPs can go through the training and become practitioners. Absolutely. There is a cost to this. It's like a 6 or 8 month course, and I just completed an internship in Tampa. So this is a rigorous training. There's a workshop, a lecture every week. And then on the off week, there is a homework assignment due. Some of these were my homework assignments, by the way, that you really have to know what you're doing and what part of the brain is being activated when dysregulation happens, why it happens, how to help them get regulated. There's a whole training process. So that's why I tell you, it's really important to go to someone who's been trained, not someone who just says, oh, I'm going to stick the letterboard and I know what I'm doing. Because no, you don't. I'm sorry. You don't. So, but the DSPs can go through the training. And then there's also, we will be able to, I told you the practitioners that are trained can help them become communication regulation partners. So if they don't want to go through the whole full practitioners training, which I do recommend, there is a training for just to be a communication regulation partner. And that's probably like an abbreviated, course, but DSPs can certainly learn. I would encourage any DSP, if you can get a sponsorship from the agency you work for and then go back and do, turnkey training, that's great too. So that not maybe every single DSP you have has to go for that training, or you could work it out with Elizabeth, because she does do outreaches on the road. Maybe she can come to your organization, or we can come to your organization and help you, get some of your people trained. There's a couple of ways to do stuff like that. So if there's any agencies that are interested, they should actually reach out too. But DSPs really should get trained, because imagine the more people that can do this, imagine the people that we'd be setting free. So also a spelling to communicate, the same as the rapid prompting method. It's very similar. It is very similar. That is what Nicholas learned in Texas. Thank you, Chris, for these great questions. Nicholas was taught rapid prompting method, and we did that for years, and it's very similar. But Elizabeth has taken this taken it and ran and made it even that much more fantastic, because Soma, who is from India but is based in Austin, Texas, doesn't do a large outreach training of practitioners. Soma really focuses on the kids, which is great. I would never take one thing away from Soma. She is the autism whisperer. She is probably one of the most brilliant people I will ever meet in my life. And my son did very well with her. But there's a need to get more of us out there so we can help the kids. And Soma doesn't really, she does have occasional trainings, yes. They're not as long. They're kind of short and abbreviated. Ours, Elizabeth made into a curriculum. It's almost like I said, to get the certification, it's a process. And now we can have a little bit more control. So there's not rogue therapists out there. We're all trained the same way, doing the same thing, using the same methodology, using the same prompting strategies. That's the consistency. So Elizabeth has really made that a wonderful program, put a beautiful bow on it, and presented it out there to get people, more and more people trained and interested. And she has a wonderful parent training as well. So we're all, now adept at doing all of those things.
That's awesome. Awesome.
So that's the difference between rapid prompting and spelling to communicate. A little bit different. Lesson procedures, when we write our lessons, we take high content areas and we write the questions in those things that I was telling you about. Green is known, orange is semi-open, whereas there's more than one answer. Then we have blue, which is previous experience, and then we have purple, which is a math question. We bring in math and numbers. And then we have the open questions, which is the pink, which is truly what every parent wants, where they want their kids to be at. That's just open communication. So there is a hierarchy. I hope I'm not losing anyone. I'm trying to really keep it where you understand my lingo, but there's a lot involved.
Yeah, it
Makes sense.
definitely does. And it definitely sounds like a lot of people should know more about it.
Absolutely.
Angela Edwards had said that, imagine that would definitely change so many lives. The
Unbelievable.
impact of this program really can change a lot.
Yes, and I also want to say, we say non-speaking and not nonverbal. A lot of people are stuck on using that word nonverbal in the community. Nonverbal means you don't understand language. Verbal is language, and language is motor. Language is cognitive. So we say non-speaking because the problem is the output, the speaking, but they understand language. They understand everything. So spelling to communicate is not just for the non-speaking, it's for the unreliably speaking. Those are kids who have words but cannot communicate effectively. You know them. Those are kids that maybe, can't answer any simple questions or have a script that they just want to say, but they have the language, but it's not communicating effectively. And it's also for kids who have language but may not be able to really get their point across. So it's the spectrum. It's not just for kids who cannot say anything, although those are our children that this really was spawned from. So we have kids with Down syndrome doing this that are doing phenomenal. And I'm so excited. One of my students that I worked with for 6 months had Down syndrome, and he's doing phenomenal. So it's for everyone.
Amazing.
Nice.
Amazing.
Not the Asperger's set. I don't want to say it's for everyone. I shouldn't have said the word everyone, but those kids that are out and holding jobs down and speaking and communicating effectively don't need spelling to communicate.
Right.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like we're having too many more questions coming in. So I want to thank you now, Barbara, for joining us today, speaking with us, giving us a little taste of the amazing things that you are doing. And for those who are watching, please reach out to the Grace Foundation for more information. Please reach out to Barbara for any further information. And we are really looking forward to connecting again and seeing where we are 6 months from now and the way that your program, the studio at Grace, grows even further.
Wonderful. Grace has a podcast, Grace 10314, and that comes on every other Saturday. And they are actually working on their own, not my group, not the new group yet, but the regular day hab. And they featured our kids in there sometimes. So they'll be seeing snippets and film of, stuff that goes on at Grace. It's called Grace 10314, and it's really cool. We're working with Gotham Trinity Productions, and they put out a real sort of like 90210. We did Grace 10314. So it's a glimpse into what goes on at Grace, and we hope that our group soon will be able to be featured and we could show more video content. It's still, it's brand new. It's only been open a couple of months. So I would love to touch base back with you and see where we're at in 6 months to a year and show you some amazing things. Anyone who's also interested in seeing Nicholas's journey, there is a video on YouTube called Here I Am, HEAR, like here I am, and with Nick Diamora, and it talks about you'll see him spelling, you'll see his journey, you'll see him out in the community buying his food, using his letterboard. So I hope we can inspire a lot more people, because when people see that, they get encouraged, because I want parents to know the more you know and the more your kids will, the better they'll do. So an informed parent is the best thing that you could do for your child.
Absolutely.
So I want everyone to have hope. Okay. This is not like, the sentence that some people think it is when they find out their child has autism. There's hope.
That's perfect. Thank you so much again, Barbara. We will put the link to Nick's video from YouTube in the comments again, so that way it's centralized in one spot. And thank you again for your time. And we're looking forward to seeing you again soon.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.